Is it a bad? Is it a plain? No, it's yes. Vision Comics. I'm here with June. June, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. So, today we're covering Heroes in Crisis #1, written by Tom King with art by Clay Mann, which I really like his artwork. So, looking at this, fantastic cover he has drawn here, he has nearly the whole DC pantheon, really.
You did a really good job. I don't know all these people, by the way.
Well, I think I know pretty much everyone here. If you start with the front and you're going left to right, it's Harley Quinn, Booster Gold, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Batgirl. That's Wally West. Flash. That's Damian Wayne. That's Martian Manhunter, Cyborg. In the green, that's Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. I think. He's the only redheaded fuck that I think would be in this thing. Then you got Big Barda. That's Mr. Miracle next to her. Next to him, you have Green Lantern. Next to him, you have Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Then you have...
Who's Dick holding?
Fucking...
Poison Ivy?
No, you're killing me. Her name is... She's Tamaranian, and I am killing myself to remember her goddamn name. Starfire. Next to them is over there, that's the Flash. Behind Martian Manhunter and the Flash is Aquaman. Then you got Arsenal. You got Blue Jay. Dr. Fate. Kinda off back there. You got Supergirl. And then sort of off to the left now you got Hawkman, Hawkwoman, Hawkgirl, whoever.
I think I see Catwoman back there.
Yeah, Catwoman's back there. Poison Ivy's back there. Power Girl's back there. Supergirl's in the far right, in the very back, next to near Dr. Fate, behind...
I spotted her.
Yeah, Blue Jay.
This is why Joe has to do the driving. I can't
see
shit.
There's Canary, there's Green Arrow, and I think that's Firestorm back there, Captain Atom. I'm assuming I think that's Red Robin, Tim Drake back there, on the left-hand side. And I think that's Alfred as well. And that's pretty much everybody you can actually make out.
Yeah, at some point they just get so small, and you can tell there's more people. Now, there's a bunch of people in golden masks and white robes.
Yeah, they're related to the Sanctuary, which is where this whole thing takes place somehow. I don't know who they are. They're all brand new.
Okay, because I was looking at them and I don't know if I should know them.
That mask looks suspiciously it looks like Psycho Pirate's mask, which would kind of make sense, actually, because Psycho Pirate was involved with... Gotham Girl, remember the mask they used on her?
Yep.
That's his mask. And he's able to manipulate the emotional state of people.
Which, for superheroes that are...
in crisis, it would be a really good thing to have. I think that's kind of cool, actually, if that's what that is. And maybe they've learned to copy that technology. A kind of an interesting thing about Psycho Pirate's mask is it's one of the few things that survived the Crisis on Infinite Earths. That and Psycho Pirate actually are the holdovers from when the universe was destroyed and remade and all. So, and he was one of the few people that remembers it, the whole thing. And
that's gotta be frustrating as hell.
Yeah, kind of. And I have a secret pet theory that actually the reason that there's 3 Jokers and all the Jokers are insane is that they all remember each time that the universe has been rebooted, because it's been rebooted 3 times. And they all remember it. And they all are like, fuck, nothing matters because we get rebooted because we're in a fucking comic book. I don't know, that could be totally just me and in the back of my mind. We're going to find out though, because there's going to be a Joker comic book where there's going to be 3 issues about each of the 3 Jokers coming out pretty soon.
I like that a whole lot.
I kind of hope he goes with that, because it'd be really cool if they're the only ones that know, and then they tell Batman, and Batman's like, whatever, you're fucking nuts. And just ignores it. And blows it off, and it's he's the only one who fucking knows, besides Psycho Pirate, who really doesn't even know that he's in a comic book, but Joker knows, I'm in a comic book. None of this matters. I can kill somebody, and they'll be back alive in about 5 years.
That's why it's funny.
Yeah, and then it just, nothing matters. Because that's what really, that has come down through Joker actually saying that before, nothing matters. Alright, so let's get right into the actual story of it all. So we open up on Booster Gold, who is in a diner in Nebraska, and the waitress there is we don't get many of you hero types out here, in the boonies. And there's another patron of the diner says, hey, is that another hero out there? Looking out the window, and it's Harley Quinn, and she's like, that ain't no hero. And she comes in, and she's like, is there about to be a fight? And he's like, Probably about to be a fight, actually.
Now, you said Booster Gold is from the future, right?
Booster Gold is a time traveler from the future. His suit is future tech. He actually worked in a museum for heroes, and then traveled back in time to become a hero himself because he's like kind of full of himself. He also teams up with Blue Beetle sometimes, who's like another like. He's not a time traveler or anything like that. But his suit has actually gotten broken a few times, and like it's taken him out of the hero game before. Actually, during the events of the death of Superman, he lost his powers because his suit got destroyed by Doomsday.
So my question is, if he's from the future, and he says, yeah, there's going to be a fight, is it because, like, as from being from the future, he knows that there's going to be a fight with Harley Quinn, or is it because, like, it's Harley Quinn, and he knows that there's going to be a fight because
there's something,
good guy, bad guy.
Something transpired between the two of them in this story. Which is why I think there's gonna be a fight. Why I think there's gonna be a fight.
Okay, but it's not a I know for sure from the future thing.
He's not really good with that. Like he really doesn't know.
Oh no, yeah, lot. I know that. I read the issue. I read the entire issue.
He's not really good with what's going on and like and stuff. He really is not like a history buff or anything like that. And I think he comes way in the future.
I totally thought you're saying that he wasn't good at fighting. Not that he wasn't good at history.
He's not really good at a lot of things. He's just good at being kind of a douche, and he's funny. Like
so
that's
he's
what
Billy.
He's good. Anyways, so they sit down together at the diner or whatever, and then we cut over to a field where a red streak is going right across it, and then we cut back to Harley Quinn talking at the sanctuary, and says she doesn't believe in trauma, and that she listened for years to people talking about their woes and stuff like that, because she actually used to be a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Before her
mental breakdown.
Yeah. Or just like I think she let the veil drop finally, or just went so crazy for Joker that she never came back from it. But she's like, I should have been hitting him over the head with sledgehammers all this time instead of listening to them whine and yab. And then she starts breaking down crying. And then we back at the diner, Harley orders some peach pie, and the waitress tells from the waitress, and then tells Booster Gold a secret that she actually really hates pudding, because the waitress is like, we also have rice pudding, or tapioca pudding rather.
Yeah.
And she's like, I hate pudding, which is funny because that's sort of like her catchphrase for calling everybody that.
Yeah. She's already before this even called us pudding, I think.
Yeah. So Harley gets her pie, and she says it smells like America. And then we cut over to birds who are feasting on a small creature, and if you look really closely, it's a blue mask, and it's Blue Jay's mask. Yeah. Who we'll get into in a little bit.
We get into him right on the very next page.
Yeah, well, Superman swoops right in and sort of like takes like a vision of what's going on in the place. And then we cut over to Blue Jay, who is sitting there talking, and he's like, he's been having trouble controlling his powers, which are shrinking. He can shrink down to smaller sizes. And he says that lately he's been waking up drowning in his sheets on his bed and not able to, control those powers in his own sleep.
It's frustrating as hell.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people are, I assume they're experiencing some kind of, mental distress of some sort.
Yeah, and it's nice that there is this retreat of sorts for them to go to, or there was.
This is also heavily influenced by Tom King's time in anti-terrorism. He worked for the CIA for a while, and the anti-terrorism group, and he saw a lot of good people suffer from PTSD and other mental maladies. So he wanted to write a book about heroes that we know going through that same thing, because everyday heroes go through that.
I love that. That is such a great concept and such a good way to shine some light on
really
mental health issues.
And so most of the stuff I feel like he's experienced or seen firsthand from other people or for himself. I don't know. I can't speak to what he's experienced himself, but he said that he's seen a lot of good people go down that road.
Well, we've said this with different superheroes. I think we did it with Sentry and a few others. It is a good way to shine the light on mental health. And he can't control his powers. It's like you can't control your train of thought and what your body is doing.
Exactly. So Harley Quinn finishes up her pie and tells Booster Gold a quote from Freud about demons and conjuring them and wrestling with them. She said she wrestled with the worst of demons, and that's the Joker. Yeah, and has actually come back a bit scathed from that. And then she attacks Booster Gold with a knife.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
I will say she's a woman after my own heart, finishing that pie first, though. Maybe not the stabbing.
Yeah, so Booster Gold engages his suit and says he doesn't want to hurt her, and then we cut over to Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and Batman tells Superman not to touch anything, because he doesn't want her to, like, he doesn't want him to pollute the crime scene, and Wonder Woman's like, he knows not to do that.
Yeah.
But we see dead bodies all over the ground of heroes. And then we cut over to the dead people, and one of the dead people, and he's hotspot, yeah. And his catchphrase is "I'm just warming up," and he says it when he's scared, and he thinks that most people would like to be able to say something when they're scared.
Which is so sad because, like, in the very beginning, they'll have titles in these sometimes, and it was titled "Warming Up" or like just warming up, some shit like that. I'm like, oh,
I'm just warming up. Yeah, so
I don't know this guy, but it's already sad.
Yeah, it is, and so. He basically was saying that, like, he thinks that most people would like to have something to say in the face of being scared, actually.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Superman over Hotspot's body, and Superman says, wasn't there something he used to say?
There's even, like, a little tear out of his corpse's eyes.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because Superman can't remember what he said.
But what he used to say. I think he's just so traumatized by the situation. Like, he knows all these people.
Yeah.
Like, they're there because he helped them.
They're friends, they're acquaintances,
and he wants to help them. So Booster Gold and Harley Quinn continue to fight, and Booster gets tired of the fight and says he's going to take her back to the Hall of Justice. And she's like, sweet. And Superman then goes into the sanctuary, and he sees... very, very crazy. I can't even believe it. There's Wally West and Arsenal both dead on the ground. And if you don't know who Wally West is, he's the Flash. That's like, he was the Flash from 1985 until like 2000.
Now I recognize the Flash, and he is the first big one that died. I didn't know who Arsenal was.
Arsenal's Green Arrow's sidekick. And I kind of figured Arsenal was going to die because there was this big advertisement. Like, there were 6 people up there. There was Harley Quinn, there was Arsenal, the Flash. I think one of the Robins was up on there too. And they're like, which of these heroes is going to die? And I was like, fucking Arsenal's dead. Because not a lot of people are huge fans of his. But I did not see Wally West dying. They, like, killed a Flash.
Yeah, but before we started recording this, didn't you say that Flashes tend to go in crises?
They tend to disappear into the Speed Force, usually. They disappear into it, or they appear to be dead, but they're actually in the Speed Force. This kid's dead. He is gone. And the other thing is also, like, he's a big fucking comic book character. He's huge in the Flash stuff.
Yeah.
They have killed a major character in the name of this story, which is kind of crazy. They're committing to this motherfucker.
Right. But again, there's something else that you said before we started recording about Wally West being... No, maybe it wasn't Wally West being from...
It's Booster Gold.
You said somebody... Yeah, not... Oh, fuck. It was somebody that's from the future... Not from the future. That is able to control timelines.
That's Booster Gold. He's able to control... Okay. He's able to time travel, and he's meddled in the past. And then that they could wipe this whole story out with, like, him traveling in time. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back, because I have seen recently... Because I read Batman. We read Batman. But at the end of the wedding issue, there is this picture of all these, like, people at the bottom of Arkham that are, like, bowing to Bane, and they're in his service. And one of the things that is down in that basement is Booster's Gold time machine. And I don't know why it's there, and I don't know if he doesn't have it. And there's something going on with that.
That was a Sherlock fucking moment, because I forgot about that damn picture.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. That was, like... 5 issues ago. So there's
like it's his, I forget what he calls it, but there's this little time machine that's
fucking head.
Yeah, and he uses that to time travel and all. So I don't know if he's lost it. I know that it got broke before, but he's used it to go back in time and fix things before. So I don't know where it's at in this. It's not following him around anywhere, obviously. So I don't know where, because it's usually his little buddy. It's just like, it's got a little AI system inside of it. It's like a friend of his.
So even if he doesn't, like, if this isn't corrected right away, gets that machine back, it could be potentially.
Yes. Or it I don't know, it could be stuck somehow in the timeline. I know that there's some things he says he can't fix sometimes. I mean, obviously, like, if you have a time traveler, you can really fix a whole lot of things if you depending on the rules. Yeah, it depends on the rules. I don't know what the rules are for his time travel exactly. I've seen him do some pretty crazy stuff. Like, he went back in time and, like, ended the murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne. And it fucked up, like, Gotham seriously
Yeah.
because there's no Batman. And then you have Dick Grayson out there in the Batman costume because his parents still got murdered, but he's got fucking shotguns and he's killing people left, right, and center.
Yeah, he didn't have a good influence.
Yeah, and then there's Catwoman, who is so fucking crazy that all she does is meow at people. So, yeah, that's a whole thing. I'm not sure where his time machine is, or if he can fix this. But even if he doesn't fix, let's say he doesn't fix this, that's a big death. That's a huge. And the thing is, there was just this huge event in like the Flashes where Wally West was trying to get his kids back from the Speed Force.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and he didn't. I don't think he did actually. And so I'm not. So they killed him off. That's
this won't affect him in Justice League, will it?
No. Okay. That's actually Barry Allen is the Flash in Justice League. Wally West is the sort of other Flash. They're both equally called Flash. He used to be Kid Flash, and then he became the Flash, and then they never downgraded him back down to Kid Flash because there is another Kid Flash now.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, Flash stuff is really kind of confusing in its own right.
Okay, so
anyways,
don't be completely heartbroken over Wally West because we don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
yet.
but or Arsenal, but I would hazard a guess to say they might stay dead because let's put it this way: Barry Allen disappeared into the Speed Force. We didn't know he disappeared in the Speed Force. It looks like he just dissolved in 1985, and he was gone for 30 years. So. He could be gone for a long time. Also, last time Wally West disappeared into the Speed Force, he was gone for, 7-8 years. So, might not be coming back for a while.
Still within our lifetime.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll remember him by then.
So anyways, we go over to Arsenal, who's talking, and he says he was an addict and he was hooked on pills for a while, but then he read that it would fuck up his kidneys, so he switched to heroin, and that's a storyline that you can go read actually. Which is
where we live, heroin's a huge problem right now.
Well, it's a problem across the entire country, really, but it's really bad here. It's so bad that in certain parts of Ohio, there are these little boxes that have the stuff that brings you back from an overdose.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty intense.
Yeah,
and it's nice to see. Again, I like seeing what's happening currently crossing over.
Well, that was a while ago, actually, when I was written, which is the sad thing. Yeah. So if you ever want to go read a story about addiction and stuff like that, that's a good one. And then Demon in a Bottle, which is an Iron Man story, is a really great one about alcoholism and his struggle with that. That's kind of interesting. Anyways, so up in the sky, Harley Quinn stabs Brewster Girl in the chest, and they begin to fall back to Earth.
He even warns her, "You do this, and we're both gonna fall." Yeah. She's like, "Duh."
I don't care. Yeah, she doesn't give a two shits. So back over at the sanctuary, Superman is crying over what has happened, and on the wall is written, "The puddles are all dead." And Batman says the puddles are people. The puddlers are all dead, and Batman says that the puddlers are people who remove impurities from iron when they're melting it down, and Batman says whoever did this was probably being treated there, and they killed a lot of heroes who were also being treated there.
Yeah.
And then we cut over back to...
Well, wait a second. Mm-hmm. So, where the wall says the puddlers are all dead, right?
Yeah. Those
look like robots.
They are. They are. The place is run by a Kryptonian AI system that Superman has put into place, and that it has sort of the I think it's the sensitivity of it gets mentioned later on. I'll get to that.
Yeah. I'm jumping ahead.
So,
sorry.
Booster Gold and Harley Quinn are both resting back on the ground, and they both basically say they saw each other kill other heroes. So they don't even know who killed who.
Who killed who?
But the thing is, they might have both done it. Because if they're under control of the Psychopirate's mask, they could be influenced to kill whoever. They could be being infected with the murderous rage that consumes them into stabbing everybody or doing whatever they did. Or it could just be that they both have been under some kind of other control. You never know.
Right. Or couldn't it have stopped them both from remembering accurately what happened?
Could be. It could be a lot of things. It depends on who causes, who did it, what happened.
Okay.
So then we get Booster Gold talking to the people of the Sanctuary, and he says that the Sanctuary is a Kryptonian AI with Wonder Woman's compassion, Batman's will, and Superman's honor, and that he really is ready for their help, and he's ready to go for that. And that's sort of where we end with Heroes in Crisis. It is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
This one, wow. I thought it was gonna be good. I didn't see it being the way it was. It's really great.
I feel like because I'm not acquainted with a lot of these characters that it didn't hit me quite as hard as it hit you. Joe was trying to give me spoilers in the car. This thing hit him so fucking hard. Anyway, I think that if it had been just a little bit longer, which I normally don't ask for a longer comic, but I think if there had been just a little bit more, it would have hit me. Like, right now, it's a thing, and I read it, and it wasn't bad, and it wasn't good. It's just neutral. Yeah. So, the art was good.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, like, I have... So, some of these people I've been reading for... long time now. And to see Wally West, like, dead again after, like, he just been brought back for the Rebirth stuff.
How long ago was that?
That was 2016, I think, is when they did that, 2017.
Wow, so just for 2 years?
Like, because, like, they brought him back. He had disappeared with the events of the New 52 stuff. I think he disappeared, and they brought back Barry Allen, and a lot of people were upset about that because they really like Wally West. Because for a lot of people, Wally West is the only Flash they had ever known. Because I mean, that was 1985. It was before I was born. Yeah. So a lot of people, that's all they ever had is a Flash, and so they brought him back, and now they're taking him away again, which is kind of like a kick in the nuts, to be honest.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. I don't normally read Flash, but I'll probably have to read the next couple Flashes to see if they like pull them out. They've been doing pretty good about like having overlapping storylines and stuff. Like Dick Grayson just recently got shot, and there's gonna be effects of that in his like Nightwing regular storyline. Yeah. So they're doing a lot of interesting stuff with that they're like crossing over.
It makes it a little more worthwhile to be reading multiple titles that have similar characters.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you'll get something like they just came out with Justice
Comics, and Superman isn't really doing that the same.
Like Justice League Odyssey, they have Darkseid in there as one of the main characters, and he's just died in Mr. Miracle. So I'm not sure what the fuck they're doing with that. Because, like, what?
They might kill him off, though. This might be before his death, and he's there for, like, an issue or two, and then...
I know, he's a part of, like, the main group, because he's supposed to be helping them out.
I don't fucking know,
Yeah, man. Exactly. So I don't know what the hell they're doing with that. I'm hoping that this will be treated as, like, a real crisis. Okay, so for those who don't know, crisis is sort of the tagline for major continuity shifts and major changes to... DC stuff. It adds things to it. It takes things away. It's a way of clearing up certain things. They recently did the Dark Knight's Metal thing, and they didn't call that a crisis, but it had all the feelings of a crisis, where you have things that are added to the universe to expand what's in the toy box, basically. Yeah. Whereas like other crises is clearing up the continuity, like the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was the first one in 1985, was a way of like, okay, so we had Earth 2, and then we had like Earth 1, and then all these other Earths, and then we just combined them all into one like comic set, or maybe even nice Earth 1 and 2. Yeah, you clean up that, and then there was like Infinity Crisis, I think it was, and that was like a crisis in time where they had all these fucked up timelines, and it was a way of cleaning that up. Yeah. And then they've done Identity Crisis, which that was another cleaning up, and then there was Final Crisis, which kind of like, again, like...
I think I've heard you bitch about that one because he called it Final Crisis, and now they like supposedly can't do crises because...
Yeah, okay, so Grant Morrison wrote Final Crisis, and he took away he took away the new 52. He took away the 52 universes, or at least the monitors over top of them, and took them out of the toy box. Which that pisses me off. I hate when somebody takes something out of the toy box and doesn't put something back new into it. Yeah. If you're just taking that away, like, okay, nobody else can use monitors anymore because they're mine. That pisses me off.
Shitty.
Yeah, I think that's fucking stupid. Like, that's like saying nobody else can do this. I done it. I wrote the final story on this bullshit, and calling it a Final Crisis is the other thing that you can't do. I guess, Heroes in Crisis, maybe it's pointing towards this will be a crisis-like event, which is kind of always very big and far-reaching and affects a lot of people, and we could see this maybe like over time. And
this is an ongoing series, though, right? Not just an event.
It's 9 issues.
Okay, so it's kind of okay.
Yeah, it's a limited series, is what they call it. And I will say they've killed some people that you don't see very often. but they've killed some big people too.
Yeah.
So like the fact that they grouped Arsenal and Wally West together is kind of telling. Like those two were really big.
Yeah.
And also like Blue Jay and Firespot, Hotspot. With Hotspot,
apparently he needed to go.
Yeah. They were smaller characters, and you just can kind of get rid of them, and it's a way of like being like, well, we don't.
There's
like,
still this massive.
Yeah, they're not out there doing stuff. You don't have to worry about them. We can just kind of like clear them off the board a little bit.
Yeah.
There was some really stupid shit after like Crisis on Infinite Earths where they would like they had like Uncle Sam was a fucking hero in the DC universe. Really dumb shit. So you can kind of get rid of these characters if you want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I'll be interested in see what happens in the next issue. I wonder what those fucking
for me, it's a 10 because they really nailed that shit down and they killed some people.
And that makes sense for the people that like know this.
Yeah.
But for a newer person, it's like this is a thing and it's happening.
Crises are not for new people, if you ask me. They're not jumping on points too much because they're continuity heavy and they're fixing things or they're getting rid of things. They're cleaning up. They're for people who've been reading for a while. I will say this
is not what I expected because when we were talking about it during we were talking about the stuff that was coming out. It made it seem like, it's going to be like a mental health clinic, a spa, a resort where you go and you get better.
It is. That's what it is. But it's also this. Well, they have to do something else with the story besides just that.
Okay.
And so it's a murder mystery. Who killed these people? I think we're going to continue to see people
because
going
they made it sound like this sanctuary of sorts. It's done now. It's gone. Like they made it sound like in the first issue.
They have to. Yeah, but I think we're going to get flashbacks of what it was like. Because we're seeing the people going to therapy still, and that'll carry through each issue. We'll see people progressing, and then we'll see what happened, probably, like, while these people are dead, who killed them, and all that. And then I'm assuming that we'll see some rebirth of the sanctuary.
Because it really does seem necessary.
Yeah, it does. It is very necessary. Like, I think the reason the Booster Gold is there, because after he went back in time and stopped the Martha and Thomas Wayne murders, he had to go back and remake them happen. He didn't murder them, but allowed them to happen again because he needed to fix the timeline. And in doing so, Bruce Wayne shot himself in the head in front of him, and he saw it and fucked him up. So, and he went back to the president. He's like, I need help, and so he went to the sanctuary for that, and that's where they said he was going to go. And then
I would enjoy just watching them in the therapy sessions and
you're getting
seeing
that.
them.
That's the thing, you're getting that to some degree, and you have okay, so there's people that really enjoy that, and there's other people who wouldn't even fucking buy this because if it's all that,
Yeah, and I understand that.
I'm
thinking of it as more an ongoing series, not a limited series.
I'm thinking of the 16, 18-year-old, 20-year-old, really young kid who's I don't want to feel these fucking people bitch about their feelings. This is just fucking stupid. I can see them getting pissy about it. But if you throw a murder mystery in there, and you can write the subtext of mental health into it.
Which, it's better to get the message across to the masses.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, when this thing is over and they had the sanctuary again, as we assume that they will, that wouldn't be a bad little ongoing series.
I guess, but I don't
they might not have enough.
I could see this being a nice little addition to the toy box. You could have people going there. You could tell people after you go through a huge ordeal, okay, this is somewhere you can go. Dick Grayson is shot in the head. Somewhere he can go and recoup and become himself again.
Yeah.
Later on, if they use
I
it
can
that
imagine
way.
this is a place that Barbara Gordon could have came to at some point.
Exactly. They could use these things, and she could use it now, kind of, with going through the seizures and all she's going through in Batgirl.
Oh, their relationship can develop in the sanctuary.
Or I don't know. Anyways, you don't want spoilers for Nightwing.
God damn, you and all the fucking spoilers. On that note, we're done.
Yeah, at any rate, guys, you can follow us on Twitter at Zero Comic Books. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Joseph_Lawhorn. If you have any questions about any of the crises, past or present, you can give me a tweet there. Just if you would like to support the podcast, you can do so by going to patreon.com/ZeroSupervision, or you can go on Amazon.com and buy a t-shirt there. Just remember that they run a little small, so I would order a size bigger than you normally would buy. We also have a news podcast between me and another co-host, Billy, where we discuss current events and everything else, and we make kind of fun of that. So go check that out. That's Zero Supervision News.
Alright, you can find me on Twitter at Lawhorn_June. Bye, guys.
Bye.